Big setback for the Vadra-Congress. Young Indian property sealed by the Enforcement Directorate, the same property owned by Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi jointly. ED sources say senior officials of the Herald House did not cooperate, leaving no other option but to seal the property in Delhi. Republic exposed the freedom struggle for profit scam. All proceeds of crime owned by the Vadra-Congress will now be investigated. As ED seals Sonia and Rahul Gandhi owned property, Congress cries political vendetta. The story continues. In a big development this evening, the Enforcement Directorate has sealed the Young Indian office in the national capital. Days after Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi were questioned by the Enforcement Directorate, 24 hours after the ED raided the Herald House, the ED says they were not cooperating. Here's the story so far, and then we have a live coverage and the debate on prime time.
The Enforcement Directorate has sealed Sonia and Rahul Gandhi's property in New Delhi. This after multi-city raids in connection with the Freedom for Struggle scam. According to the ED order, the premises is not to be opened without prior permission from the agency, as incriminating documents during its raids in connection with the National Herald case were found. While angry Congress workers continue to protest against the ED crackdown,
it is hereby ordered that this premises not be opened without prior permission from the Directorate of Enforcement. और उसके बाद पता लिखा हुआ है B ब्लॉक परिवर्तन भवन APJ अब्दुल कलाम रोड न्यू दिल्ली. ये Enforcement Directorate द्वारा देखिए साइन करके आज की तारीख डाल के ये चिपकाया गया है.
After the ED sealed the office of the National Herald, the security has been beefed up outside AICC headquarters in the national capital to prevent further protests from breaking out over the announcement. Congress President Sonia Gandhi was questioned for nearly 6 hours on July 26th and was asked to appear before the ED on the next day as well, while Rahul Gandhi was quizzed for over 54 hours over a period of 5 days in connection with the Freedom Struggle for Profit scam. Section 144 has been imposed outside the residence of Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra's residence. Meanwhile, Congress has decried ED action, saying this was the worst form of vendetta politics.
You can try and suppress as much as you like. You will receive a resilience and a reaction which is completely democratic, which is for the world to see. We will continue to expose you. I only want to say that all law has been thrown to the winds, all sense of decency, democratic values, all sense of balance, and this is reprehensible. We cannot find stronger words to condemn it.
As the freedom struggle for profit scam explodes and the ED does its job, the big question is if Sonia and Rahul Gandhi did usurp, shouldn't all properties be sealed? Should Sonia and Rahul's bank accounts also be sealed as well, apart from the assets? Has the sealing of the properties by ED scared the Vadra-Gandhis? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Getting some breaking news now on the show that the Congress Party has called for a meeting of all Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha MPs at the Congress Parliamentary Party office tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. to discuss the future strategy of the party. Congress MPs will be also giving an adjournment motion notice in Parliament regarding today's incident, namely the sealing of the Young Indian office. That's the breaking news update right now. They've just called for a meeting, and this comes at a time when Rahul Gandhi has just cut short his visit. He will be returning to Delhi this evening, and he will also be taking, we are told, it could be a private jet. It could be a chartered flight. I'm not sure about that, but there are reports coming in. We'll wait for a report on that confirmation coming in a few minutes from now. Abhishek also joining us on the broadcast. Let me introduce Sardar RP Singh will be joining us live. Manish Bariyar of the JDU, Karan Verma, political analyst, joining us live. I also have Professor Vivek Singh, political analyst, Nahid Lari Khan of the Samajwadi Party, Surendra Chauhan, political analyst, Anirban Banerjee, political analyst, and Piyush Joshi, Dr. Piyush Joshi, political analyst, completes the panel. Quickly, let me go across to Abhishek first up to get the breaking news update. He's outside the Congress Party headquarters. Abhishek, there seems to be a sense of panic. Some leaders have rushed to AICC headquarters. Some leaders have gone to Rahul Gandhi's residence. We are hearing now that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's residence as well, there is a convoy that's arrived there. So they seem to be planning something. They have absolutely no idea perhaps now on what is going to come next. Now, that seems to be the impression that we're getting. But over to you, Abhishek.
Well, Niranjan, yes, you are right, there was panic, but the panic was born out of this anticipation that after sealing the office of Young Indian at the Herald House, the ED, accompanied with cops, might come to the AICC, given the fact that they could not carry out, the agency could not carry out such operation as was planned at the Herald House Young Indian office. So I think that panic led to a scramble here with all the leaders trooping in. The facade or the explanation that was given was that this is a meeting to plan the protests that will take place on 5th of August. But the fact is that about 50 odd protesters are there outside, inside in fact, but outside the building in the AICC. And there was planned to start protests the moment the cops or the ED get inside the AICC, which was, I believe, not the plan of the agency anyway. But since news is spread, there was anticipation and hence panic, which led to this scramble of meetings here and meetings there that you mentioned. Rahul Gandhi coming back, some say that it was he had gone there yesterday and today anyway he was coming back. Whether the developments today in Delhi have led to him coming little earlier than planned, we don't know. But the fact is that he is also coming back. KC Venugopal is also coming back. In fact, the protesters inside, they have been told, because the leaders inside thought that the cops might come in a little late. So just to keep the protesters inside and not let them go out and be in a situation where in case the cops come in, there is nobody to protest. They were told that please wait till the time KC Venugopal comes back from Bengaluru, where he was with Rahul Gandhi. So that's the situation as of now on the ground, Niranjan. The fact remains that ED wants to take stock of the actual size of the assets that have been taken over by Young Indian and hence the Gandhis through that transaction with AJL via the Dotex route. And that exercise has gone into a nuts and bolts situation now, where the ED has to physically go to these offices. All the properties, we saw 12 of them being searched yesterday. Today, in fact, Mallikarjun Kharge had to be present. He was intimated in advance, and yet because he was not present there, that's why the office was sealed. And that action itself led to panic situation here at AICC, because of which that scramble happened. So that's the situation as of now on the ground, Niranjan.
Okay, I have some exclusive inputs, but I want Shravan to also come live so that I can break it with him. He has the full details of what is going on. But let me go across to our panelists as well. Abhishek, stay with me. Abhishek and Piyush, stay with me. The moment we have an action, we have some action there. Abhishek, just sound us out. We're going to come back to you live. I'm just standing by for Shravan to join us on the broadcast. Shravan is at the ED office. He's picking up more details of the case, so I'll go across to him as well. Sardar RP Singh, can you hear me? Sardar RP Singh of the BJP, let me start with him. Now, Sardar RP Singh, they're saying that this is a siege. They're calling it a siege. They're calling it an emergency. They're saying you're helping corporates. They're saying you don't want small businessmen to flourish. But they haven't answered any questions on the freedom struggle for profit scam. Do you want to respond? Who'd like to go first? Okay, Sardar RP Singh, I'll let the Samajwadi Party respond. Take the first response from you. Yeah, Sardar RP Singh and the Samajwadi Party, yes.
Excuse me. Because who has captured company worth some 5,000 odd crore rupees, and they are talking about corporates. They have virtually hijacked that company, the Associate General, by a corporate process, by a process of fraud, and then they have captured that company. They are talking about that, they are being harassed. No, they don't answer that. The basic question is still that how did they acquire National Herald through Young India by taking money on loan and rerouting some 50 lakh rupees from Calcutta and then using that money to capture a company to get hold of a company worth some 5,000 crore rupees. And then on what name? That they are going to revive that company for publishing newspaper. Not a single paper has been printed till date. I mean, National stopped long back. The printing of National stopped long back. And thereafter they have not revived it. It's not issue of reviving. It's basically is taking the rental value of those places, trying the money which comes from those places as rent and using that for personal objectives.
Yeah. What is vindictive about it? Can I ask, the Samajwadi Party spokesperson on the show, Nahid Lari, if you could tell me, Nahid, there are details, there are stunning details of this scam. Let me tell you a little bit about this entire story, right? Yesterday, we were told just yesterday that there was raids happening in Kolkata. There's a company called Dotex. Now, I'll get to Dotex later. But do you know that assets worth over 2,000 crore, Nahid, 2,000 crore rupees and more assets have been taken over. Cheating in the acquisition of AJL or the Associated Journals that runs National Herald. 2,000 crore assets appropriated by Young India paying just 50 lakh rupees. So basically they got properties worth 2,000 crore by paying 50 lakhs. You can respond to the BJP on the specific allegations, and all of these properties, by the way, were in a company that was formed for freedom fighters. They got all their properties, their benefits for freedom fighters, for fighting for India's freedom struggle. Nahid.
I was listening to the BJP spokesperson. He was, it seems that he's the spokesperson of ED. Let me remind him, he's not even the government spokesperson. Just like me, like I'm a party spokesperson, even he is BJP spokesperson. So uselessly he's talking about ED as if he's the spokesperson of ED.
See,
I sir, I didn't interrupt you while you were speaking. Kindly maintain the decorum of the debate.
Okay.
Let me finish off. See, I would like to say one thing, that since ED is bringing up such old cases like National Herald case, which is a very old case, Sanjay Raut's case, which is 11-year-old case, so ED must also open up BJP's 21-year-old case, wherein one of BJP's national president was caught red-handed taking bribe worth lakhs of rupees for having work done by PM. ED should verify the money trails. ED should also verify BJP's account, and ED should also question Mr. Nadda, the national president of BJP, that before 2014 BJP had 200 crore rupees in their account, and within a span of 8 years it has become 5,000 crore. Now who has given this money? Who has donated this money? ED should verify the money trail, and also ED should seal the BJP office and verify the money trail. One thing very important. See, ED should also question BJP that from where are they getting so much of money that pan-India, they're making high-tech offices. High-tech offices. Even one minute. From where are you all getting this money?
Nahid.
ED should verify.
Okay.
And if you talk about
no, you
UP,
can fight with the BJP.
One thing very important.
Okay, last point.
No?
Yeah.
No, see, one thing very important I'd like to bring to your knowledge is that in UP, the concerned minister of Jal Shakti Vibhag, he has written openly a letter, and he has said there is a lot of corruption in the name of Namami Ganga. ED hasn't reached here. The health minister has openly said that there is corruption in transfer and posting, crores and crores of rupees.
Nahid. Okay, you said what you had to 1 minute. 1 minute, please. Please, can I interrupt you for a second? 1 minute. RP, your audio is bad. RP, your audio is bad. It's choppy. RP, we can't hear you. Your audio is bad. It's choppy. So you may want to reconnect your line. I can't hear you. It's choppy. Okay. So we'll reconnect that line. I'm going to Shravan joining me on the broadcast. I'm handing it over to him because Shravan has some big breaking news updates. I'm handing it over to Shravan, who'll take the show from here. But Shravan has big breaking news updates right now, and I'm putting that out. Shravan, why don't you tell our viewers from top sources in the ED, he's outside the ED office, he has some details. Shravan, why don't you tell our viewers? Go ahead.
Well, in fact, Niranjan, for all our panelists who are joining us on the burning question, it's important that they hear this out, because what we're given to understand is that days of questioning of Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, the enforcement directorate seems to be completely unsatisfied. The reason being is that they found only one route, an escape route, I would say, and that route is blaming it all on Motilal Vora. Sources within the agency now indicating that the burden of proof basically lies on Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi to prove that Motilal Vora had basically taken the decision, because at the end of the day, they are stakeholders in this company, which was incorporated within just about 3 days, within 3 months, I beg your pardon. And apart from that, we are also being told that there is no proof whatsoever they have been able to furnish that there were charitable activities that were undertaken by Young India under the Section 25 of the Companies Act. That in itself is hugely worrisome for Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, because it is upon them to now prove that Motilal Vora was taking the decisions of taking over the properties, the decisions of actually getting the money. In fact, they haven't been able to really convince how exactly did they receive about 1 crore rupees from this company called Dotex. Dotex, which is suspected to be, I'm given to understand, a shell company, which essentially means they had no employees, no business whatsoever. And despite that, they had actually received money. Young Indian had received money from this very company. Let me take this question to Anirban and also Karan Verma. Karan Verma, we see this massive uproar. This comes at a time, if you remember, Karan, earlier in the day, at least 17 members of the opposition parties have come together saying that they are disappointed with what the Supreme Court essentially had to say. Now, you are basically coming to a conclusion about what the Supreme Court now has to say. You have a problem with the kind of powers that have been given. What do you essentially want? An institution without the teeth?
And the same people, Shravan, who have been crying hoarse that we have to strengthen our institutions. Today, we can be so proud that not only the Supreme Court, but people are also beginning to trust ED, and the Supreme Court gave it further teeth on 27th July, and it upheld the Section 24, which means the reverse burden of proof remains with the accused. They have to now establish, gone are the days when you could hide behind the axiom, innocent till proven guilty. Now you have to prove that this money is untainted. When piles of cash is discovered, or when a clear misappropriation of property worth 2,000 crores is discovered, the onus is on you to establish how you got this money. And I'm afraid there is piling evidence against the Gandhis, against Sanjay Raut in that case, and against Satyendra Jain in Delhi. So it's but natural for the opposition to now be conveniently united and say that it is a witch hunt. Though honestly, as per the Bhajanlal case, it's clear there is nothing like politics of vendetta. You have to debate on the merits of the case. Only when the merits are so heavily against you and PMLA sections have been upheld by the Supreme Court, all as a rebut you have is cry vendetta. But trust me, it's not going to work, because the court is going to take cognizance of the merits of the case, and they are going to lose in the courts of people and in the courts of law both.
You know, Well, in fact, I want Anirban to come in right now. Anirban, why don't you respond to the fact, you respond to the fact that why is it that the opposition parties would basically make sweeping remarks as far as the Supreme Court is concerned? I understand that you have a problem with the investigative agencies because the opposition parties do not want any investigation to take place. But now when the Supreme Court has come to some sort of an understanding, a conclusion on this entire matter, giving the necessary powers to the enforcement directorate, why does the opposition party really have a problem?
See, the Supreme Court, though supreme, is not infallible. Therefore, whatever verdict they put out in any case for that matter will never be above criticism, will never be above the scrutiny of the common man. The next thing I want to say regarding the ED is that the ED always has so much to say to the media regarding various raids against the opposition leaders, but so little to present before the trial court, which is very much established from the fact that their success rate regarding conviction in trial court is less than 1%. It is 0.5%. It is not even abysmally low. It is basically negligible. Therefore, even with all the powers that is there in the PML Act, which basically goes against the basic doctrine of our constitution, still the ED has miserably failed to prove their own efficacy over the years. And after the BJP came to power, the ED has been so shamelessly used against the opposition that now it is basically it's like a wasting of time repeating the same thing. Had the opposition would have no problems with the ED, had the ED also taken cognizance of the PM Cares Fund, cognizance of the electoral bonds, cognizance of the various assets of the BJP after demonetization.
Anirban, the problem, Anirban, there's a problem. One second, Anirban, you do have the route.
Yes.
No, one second. Anirban, a straight question. Anirban, hold on.
Yes.
Anirban, a straight question to you before I also bring in Sardar RP Singh. Now, when you constantly repeat this rhetoric that it is all about a washing machine, that leaders go inside the enforcement, they join the BJP and they become pious, they become clean. But the fact of the matter is that why can't you understand the rule book here? As far as the enforcement directorate is concerned, you really think that any case can be taken up in a whimsical manner? There is a predicate offense that they need to establish. They are basically answerable to the courts. They are answerable to the courts also. Without a predicate offense in the first place, the case would not have been taken up. But the fact of the matter, Anirban, is that, see, Anirban, I know the agencies. I'm saying that if today what has happened in Kolkata, as far as Partho Chatterjee is concerned, it is not like one fine morning the enforcement directorate has woken up and they said, okay, let's file a case against Partho Chatterjee. It is because of the Calcutta High Court that the case has come to light. So where is the problem exactly? I want to understand that.
First of all, regarding the Partho Chatterjee case, the Honorable Calcutta High Court had directed the CBI to conduct an investigation, which, by the way, we do not know which stage it is in. Maybe it will go on for 10 years or up until Partho Chatterjee joins the BJP. And the ED filed a suo motu case, which it has complete independence to. And I support the ED that it has. But the question remains, what happens whenever the BJP is involved? Where does the ED go? I'll just give you two examples regarding the washing machine example. One is Shubhendu Adhikari against whom the ED supposedly...
Sardar RP Singh.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, Sardar RP Singh.
No, can give me...
One second, Sardar RP Singh. Respond to what Anirban essentially had to say.
Yeah. He's saying the conviction rate in the ED is low. I mean, so is in the other cases, other category of cases also. Not only ED. I mean, so is in the criminal cases. Please go through the records of the criminal cases in Supreme Court and what has been the conviction rate there also. So it's not that. I mean, it takes. And then how long does the process take for a case to be proven in the court? So there's a different point. But fact is, he is not answering about the money which was for. I never interrupted you. I mean,
the common
please, sir. I never. Don't stop lynching.
Those powers, sir.
Stop debate lynching, sir.
Do not confuse the common man.
One second.
Please,
Anirban, just hold on. Let Sardar RP Singh respond.
Huge jewelry and number of flats is almost into 220 crore rupees. There's more to follow. So don't confuse the common man. He's only confused with your money, which has been there with Partho, which is there found in the association of Partho Chatterjee.
If the ED can, you control the ED. Prove it before the court. We are challenging you.
Sir.
Prove it before
Thank
the
you
court.
so much, sir.
Complete the
You have the right to go to the court.
No, one second.
Anirban,
Stop. Anirban, are you denying? No, one second.
It is the court which has ordered the inquiry.
Actually, the court asked the ED to continue the investigation for 10 years.
Sir,
let me
just started. It just started. I mean, why you so worried? The problem is, Mamata Banerjee didn't react for the first 21 crore rupees because it was part of the custody. Problem तब हुई जब वो 50 करोड़ रुपए हो गया. तब ये हुआ कि वो पैसा कहाँ से आया? 30 करोड़ का हिसाब क्यों नहीं दिया मेरे को? दिक्कत ये थी कि 30 करोड़ का हिसाब पार्थो चटर्जी ने दिया नहीं ममता बनर्जी को. इसलिए दिक्कत थी. अगर वो 50-30 करोड़ का हिसाब देता था पार्टी में रहेगा वो. He would have stayed in the party. party.
You are
He would
waiting
not
for
be
him
kicked
to
out of the
join the
party.
party.
He was kicked out of the party only because he did a contract.
Okay, both of you take a back seat now. Take a back seat. Anirban and Sardar R.P. Singh. Sardar R.P. Singh, for the benefit of our viewers, 1 minute. Let me put this into perspective now. Sardar R.P. Singh, I want a very quick answer on two issues. What do you really have to say about the timing? Because the enforcement directorate, what happens is that the opposition parties are again and again, they are raising this point that together you only find the opposition leaders Sanjay Raut, albeit Partha Chatterjee, or for that matter Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi. They are alleging that, look here, there is only the opposition leaders. I want you to respond for that, and I want everyone to listen to it, because we're going to again and again come back to the same point. And the second issue is that the moment you have certain political leaders jumping into your party, it seems that the income tax department, the enforcement directorate, no one seems to be questioning them. That's the allegation. You need to respond to that.
Okay. I'll answer both of them, and I probably have been heard quietly, and I won't be interrupted. Who's Pooja Singhal?
Yeah, absolutely, no one is going to interrupt you. No one is going to interrupt you because we need an answer on that.
Okay, she's an IAS officer. Who was Mr. Jain, whose money was unearthed in Lucknow? Is he part of the BJP, or is he part of any opposition party, or is he part of any other political party? No. So ED takes its own course of action depending on the court orders or depending on the information they have, information they gather. Even on Partho's case, it was the High Court which ordered, and then it was following the traces, which was leads which are given probably by some insider, and they found whatever they found, and it's in open world whatever they found. And secondly, there is no case which has been closed till date. Every case is open and every case will be pursued. But timing is not the issue at all. Because if you say timing, they say election aayega to hoga. It's not because of election. It can happen anytime. It can happen with anyone. It depends, because elections keep happening there and every now and then. But they have to raise questions. The question is, why should ED function? वो जो property पाई जा रही है, those people were cheated in those chores who didn't get their houses, or thought that the children who couldn't get the job in Bengal, or the shareholders who were duped in the AGL case and AGL case. How about them? No one is talking about their plight.
From where is BJP getting so much of money? Why isn't ED verifying the money trail in this
Ma'am,
case?
I'll appreciate, before you utter a word, be very sure about it.
Okay, one second, hold on.
Before you utter nonsense, be very sure about it.
Can we, no, one second. Sardar R.P. Singh, I'll take this on. One second. Madam, can you please hold on? 1 second.
If you, or even the Nahid party, whatever money comes to the political parties are accounted for and accounted
Nahid Khan, can I, 1 second, Sardar R.P. Singh, hold on. Nahid Khan, I know you will come back. 1 second, I'll come to it, hold on. This is not a fish market, please, hold on. Sardar R.P. Singh, I wanted him to at least come. Nahid, there is no point in heckling Sardar R.P. Singh, because I know you will ask him the same question. So that's why, for once and for all, I'm asking Sardar R.P. Singh the question that you all have been asking. But the point is that again and again heckling does not give you the right answer. Let Sardar R.P. Singh complete. 1 second, Nahid, I will give you the did I say that? No, 1 second. No, did I say, Nahid, Miss Khan, did I say that you will not get the chance? Did I say that? No. Please hold on. Let Sardar R.P. Singh, 30 seconds, Sardar R.P. Singh, you put this into perspective, and then Nahid and Surendra Chauhan, you can come in. Sardar R.P. Singh, 30 more seconds, put this into perspective.
Thank you so much. As for the accusation of the lady here in the panel, every money, whichever political party operates in the country, is accounted for with election commission and with income tax. Be very clear on this. So it's not that any party gets any special favor. No party can get any special favor. One. Secondly, as far I'm talking about 3 cases, Partho Chatterjee, people who couldn't get jobs, the children who couldn't get jobs in spite of paying money, and whole of this case opened with the minister's daughter being applied, and then matter going to the court. As for Bombay case, the people who were assured of the houses, that they will get houses. The people, the dwellers of Chaul, they couldn't get a single house, and that's how the matter opened up, and now it has become a big matter of some 1,000 crore rupees. Same is case at the Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. Case was there since 2012. It was not BJP who started the case. It was in 2012 in UPA regime, and it extended till now because investigation takes time, and it's happening as per the court order. And why they have a problem? Because now they are being exposed. They are being tracked.
Okay, I want Surendra Chauhan. Surendra Chauhan, you come in. You've heard what Sardar RP Singh had to say. A lot of these cases are court mandated. They are court mandated and they have been taken up. If today the opposition parties, they have a problem, they can also move the court.
True. The opposition can always move to the court. Any party, agreed party can move. But Sardar RP Singh has not come prepared today. He is talking about 2,000 crore scam. There is no scam as such. It is just an equity transfer, and which is why during the investigation, nothing incriminating has been noticed against Rahul Gandhi as well as Sonia Gandhi, the Congress president. 1. 2. Today only Congress party is there who is raising a voice against the Modi government.
Sorry to interrupt you.
1 minute, I'm coming to that.
Mr. Chauhan.
I'm coming to that. Yes.
Mr. Chauhan.
Yes.
No, 1 second. I have a problem here. No, Mr. Chauhan, there is a problem here. You are, first of all, you are refusing to believe, even before the investigation ends, when you are talking about the National Herald scam, Mr. Chauhan, can I please remind you that what the court had to say about this? You are saying what has happened to Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi? What is their current status? Should we remind the viewers? They are out on bail. So, Mr. Chauhan, when you basically say
this, I will tell you. Now, listen to me.
So, how exactly
now,
are you saying?
Allow me 30 seconds.
How exactly?
Allow me 30 seconds. Allow me 30 seconds. Allow me 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I'll give you
30 uninterrupted 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Well, firstly, it is a private complaint case filed in the magisterial court. Magisterial court issued summons to the accused person, the respondent therein. As a procedural thing, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi and the other leaders, they appeared before the magistrate court and they sought bail. This is a procedural thing. Now, ED came in picture, and ED, without any FIR there being, took cognizance of a complaint case first time.
1 second.
You don't need to file FIR.
Under the instructions of their AKAs. That's all.
There is no
1 minute.
need.
Read a PMLA Act. With PMLA Act. Read PMLA Act without there being any substantive offence. There has to be a substantive offence.
1 second. Mr. Chauhan.
There has to be a substantive offence.
Mr. Chauhan. Someone has not briefed you properly. Mr. Chauhan, I don't need Sardar. 1 second. Sardar RP Singh. No, 1 second. Sardar RP Singh,
Against the summoning order, they have gone.
Sardar RP Singh, I am answering this question to you. I am answering this question for you, Surendra Chauhan. Please do not mislead my audience. Please do not. I'll tell you why. First of all, the predicate offence that you're basically trying to refer to, in this particular case, it is the court. It is the court which has essentially indicated money laundering. It is the court which has basically indicated much more than what an FIR is required. It has gone into almost a charge sheet level. So please do not come and tell there is a requirement of an FIR. Those who haven't understood, even the senior lawyers of the Congress party have not understood as to why exactly there is a predicate offence already and why there is a need. Income Tax Appellate Authority, the Delhi High Court, everyone, if you please look at the orders, you will understand as to why exactly the Enforcement Directorate has stepped in. Manish, I want, Mr. Manish, if you can also come in right now. We're getting in some more breaking news right now. Before I bring in my
laundering. How come a shareholding company or shareholders can derive any benefit? They are not getting even dividends.
If
it's a non-dividend company.
If you pay 50 lakh rupees and you get a property worth 1,000 crore rupees, is it not a money laundering?
How come?
So what else you call a money laundering?
Show us a document. Show us a simple thing. Whether
I think,
Once again, please hold on. We're getting in some more breaking news right now. I'm getting in some breaking news right now. This is in the cattle smuggling case. It's in the cattle smuggling case where I'm being told that the Central Bureau of Investigation has basically carried out searches. They have carried out searches. We have also got the names of the persons whose premises have been searched. In fact, we're being told that 13 locations, including Kolkata and Birbhum district, premises of 3 persons, Mohammad Nazibuddin, Abdul Karim Khan, Jialuk Sheikh. Their houses have now been searched by the Central Bureau of Investigation. About 17 lakh rupees have now been recovered. Electronic devices including 10 mobile phones, pen drives, hard disk, besides several incriminating documents and locker key have been recovered by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Just staying with this breaking news also now coming in. Manish Parad of the JDU is joining us. Manish, you've already heard. It goes the whataboutery that we see from the opposition parties. But they're again and again raising this entire question that the moment there is a need to talk about issues, the Trinamool Congress is saying that we want to talk about price rise in the parliament. The government is not allowing that to happen. And the reason why you basically resort to this enforcement directorate and CBI being used as tools, how do you essentially respond? They are saying that you are gagging them.
I don't think it is true because Honorable Finance Minister herself made a statement on the floor of the Parliament that price rise is an issue, and we are trying our best to really ensure that it comes down. So there was an acknowledgement in some way from the government that price rise is an issue. I think we should not connect these two things together. Price rise is a separate issue, and ED raids are a very different issue altogether. My point was something else. My point was that do parties don't want that black money should be really accounted for, and there should be action against black money. I'm really surprised with the kind of counter arguments which are coming in, because everybody should really kind of support that these kind of raids are important to ensure that there is a fear of God even amongst politicians and businessmen who do wrong. So I think I was looking at some of the surveys which happened with common man about including people who are from opposition, and all of them seem to really support. So I think it's an eye-opener even for opposition parties that if you go and see your supporters and ask them that do they really support these kind of raids against corruption, and largely most of them are saying yes. It's a very recent report I read. So the country is united that there should be action against corruption, and there's no doubt over it. Having said that, who really made this so-called PMLA 2002 draconian? It was the then finance minister of the country, Mr. P. Chidambaram. He was the one who actually, right now the opposition is crying hoarse about that some of the draconian measures are there in PMLA. And today, Jairam Ramesh, he wrote along with 17 opposition parties about, that the Supreme Court judgment is against the entire understanding of
Dr.
what PMLA. So who did that? It was Mr. P. Chidambaram in 2002. He did that, right? So now why he's really crying on that?
Let Dr. Piyush respond. Dr. Piyush, today when you have the opposition parties essentially having a problem with powers that have been bestowed on the enforcement directorate, why do you really have a problem? Because as Manish was actually pointing out, these powers that have been given to the enforcement directorate, amendments that have basically been made to the PMLA Act was actually during the UPA era. It is Mr. P. Chidambaram.
So that's fine. Whosoever the finance minister might have been at that particular point of time, whether it is vendetta or not, it's pretty clear. It is clear as the midday sun on a May afternoon.
I'm talking about the contradiction.
The main
aren't
thing
you
is,
seeing, Dr. Piyush Joshi? Aren't you seeing the contradiction here? Aren't you seeing the contradiction here?
No,
the problem here is that it's well within your rights. It's well within your rights to raise this question. But today, when the Supreme Court, what I want to understand, Dr. Joshi, what I want to understand here is that
I understand what the debate is all about. What I'm trying to say here that the PMLA Act has been brought in to control the money laundering, and has it done that? When the deposits in the Swiss banks have risen to Herculean proportions, has it done that? So the ED is being used simply as a tool against the opposition to threaten it. And the amendments that have been carried out in 2019 have given the ED power to do just that. And it is one of the most strongly armored organization in the country, and yet it has a conviction rate of less than 0.5%. So
I don't think it's a fair argument, my friend. That's not a very fair argument.
Professor Vivek Singh. Sardar RP Singh. I'll come back. I want to also bring in Professor Vivek Singh. I want to also one second. Professor Vivek Singh.
Decimal conviction rate.
Okay.
What I'm trying to
Professor RP Singh. Professor Vivek Singh.
Can I just complete my point?
Professor Vivek Singh. I want Professor Vivek Singh to come in. 1 second. Professor Vivek Singh. Dr. Piyush Joshi, you have made your point. Let Vivek Singh also, Professor also come in right now. Professor Singh, again and again, the question essentially is being raised about the low conviction rate of the enforcement directorate. So by that logic, are we to just simply stop the investigation? Would that really help the situation?
Actually, just give me 2 uninterrupted minutes. I will explain. First, I am going with the data. As far as data is concerned, if we talk about the conviction rate, it was 0 during the UPA government. Now, as far as conviction is concerned, in the 8 years, there are 23 convictions. There are more than 888 charge sheets, and more than 1 lakh assets are being 1 lakh crore assets are being seized. So you can see, and even from the Supreme Court order, it's being confirmed that whatever is being done by the ED is correct. And ED must have all the required powers to investigate, seize and search. So there is no doubt about it. As far
No, go ahead, Professor Singh. Okay, Professor Singh, I'm told that...
No, even the professor said it is just 23 convictions.
Sardar RP Singh.
Shawan, even the professor said it is only 23 convictions. And I'll complete this sentence. It is out of almost 25,000 raids.
Karthik, if you can just tell me who's...
out of almost 25,000 raids.
There is nothing like there is not calculating machine. If you are there is so much amount is being transferred in the bank account illegally, note counting machines have to become to, and there are crores of rupees are being sealed. As far as
Nahid, I want Nahid and Sardar RP Singh. Nahid and Sardar RP Singh. I want Nahid and Sardar RP Singh to come in. 1 second, hold on. We've got it. We've got the point. Now can we please get Nahid? Can we have Nahid take on Sardar RP Singh? Nahid, you've heard what Sardar RP Singh had to say. As far as the conviction rate is concerned, is that good enough reason as to why we should stop all investigations and say that, okay, look here, the conviction rate is low, so it doesn't matter, we should stop all investigations? What's the logic?
And other than the conviction rate, the amount which has been seized is more than 1 lakh crore rupees.
No, I want Nahid and Sardar RP Singh.
The question has been asked from me.
No, Nahid.
Nahid.
Shravan, let me ask you.
1 second. I want Nahid to respond. I want Nahid to rest. Yes, Sardar RP Singh, just hold on, please. Let Nahid respond to the question, and then I'll give you the chance to respond to her.
We all want there should be action against. We all want that there should be action against black money. But why is there selective action? One thing. And then if you talk about UP, everybody knows. It came out in media that there's a lot of corruption in Bundelkhand Expressway, in Namami, in the name of Namami Ganga, in PWD department, health department. The ministers themselves have said that there's corruption in their department. But the ED hasn't reached here. And to top it all, there's a big scam that BJP is doing in Gau Matas Chara. They're eating crores and crores of rupees of Gau Matas, and Gau Matas are dying of hunger and thirst, be it in Uttar Pradesh, be it in Gujarat, be it in Madhya anything. So this is not fair. This is being selective.
Are you true, ma'am? Now,
Okay, Sardar RP Singh,
And I just
you are
recently-
again and again,
recently
Sardar
heard
RP Singh.
people were
You're,
talking
okay,
about
Sardar, one small intervention.
One thing more.
Sardar
People
Sardar
were-
RP
there are
Singh,
few
come on,
panelists
come on, come on,
continuously
come on,
talking
come on.
about Honorable
One second,
Supreme
hold on, hold on, hold on.
Court. The
Nahid,
Honorable
Nahid,
Supreme
Nahid,
Court in
Nahid,
Uttar Pradesh,
Ma-
Honorable
Nahid,
Supreme
Nahid,
Court said
Nahid,
UP
hold
mein
on, hold on.
Janjaraj hai.
We're
But
getting in
that
some more
BJP
breaking news.
doesn't
One second,
understand
Nahid,
that
some
the
breaking
Supreme
news
Court
coming
has
in.
said
Nahid,
Honorable
Nahid, Nahid.
Supreme-
Come on, Nahid, come on, Nahid, requesting you, please hold on. We're getting in some breaking news. I'm being told that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, shots which are basically coming in. Karthik, if you can just give me more details. These shots that are basically coming in of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Remember, security has been increased outside the residence of Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, as well as the AICC headquarters. Section 144 was imposed as what?
ट्वीट करते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं, लगातार विरोध प्रदर्शन करते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। हालांकि आज राहुल गांधी जो है कर्नाटक से अपना दौरा छोड़कर 10:30 बजे के आसपास दिल्ली पहुंचने वाले हैं। जब से कांग्रेस जो संचालित जो हेराल्ड बिल्डिंग है वहां पर ईडी ने सील किया उस बिल्डिंग को, उसके बाद से कांग्रेस में लगातार एक गहमा गहमी देखने को मिल रही है, लगातार एक हलचल देखने को मिल रही है। यहां से प्रियंका गांधी भी अपने आवास से निकल चुकी हैं और हो सकता है कि वो यहां से राहुल गांधी या फिर सोनिया गांधी के आवास पर पहुंचे और वहां पर तमाम जो दिग्गज नेता हैं कांग्रेस के वो भी पहुंचे और एक मीटिंग भी वहां पर हो सकती है। तो ये तस्वीरें हम आपको सिर्फ रिपब्लिक भारत पर दिखा रहे हैं। वीडियो जर्नलिस्ट
Sardar RP Singh, one final comment coming in from you. Again and again, the same question. But as far as this investigation goes, Sardar RP Singh, why do you think that the Congress party seems to be very nervous? We have seen all Congress leaders coming in. I'm told by my sources within the Enforcement Directorate that essentially this sealed order basically came in because the principal officer of the young Indian, Mallikarjun Kharge, was not present. They suspect that there could be tampering of evidence, and that is the reason why young Indian was actually sealed.
Well, not only that, I mean, they have tried to put all the blame on Motilal Vora ji. I mean, and man is not there. So put a blame on the man who is no more in this world. So that is an easy thing they wanted to do. And then, there is fair reason for ED to do what they are doing, because there can be tampering by the Gandhi family or the Gandhi loyalists. But that point aside, the lady was talking about something about UP. I'll give a challenge to her. Let her go to court and get some order from the court to get the investigation on whichever leader she's naming. But they won't do that because they have no ground. They know it's all only. Did I interrupt you, ma'am? Don't do this. मैम, ये राम भक्तों पे गोली चलाया करो। आपने राम भक्तों पे गोली चलाई थी, यहाँ पर तो मत चलाइए गोली। आपने राम भक्तों पे गोली चलाई थी, यहाँ पर गोली मत चलाइए ना।
No matters are dying of hunger and thirst in Uttar Pradesh, in Gujarat and in Madhya Pradesh. We have seen so many videos of Gujarat. 3,000 Gaumatas were dying.
हो गया आपका, हो गया। आप तो राम भक्तों पे गोली
Nahid, there's no point shouting. Nahid, no point shouting. Nahid and Sardar RP Singh, let's not talk over each other. Let's not talk over each other right now. Okay. Got it. Sardar RP Singh. Okay, Nahid, come on. Nahid, I'm running out of time. Let's close the debate. With some breaking news also coming in. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is becoming a very big news. It's on Republic TV. Okay, Sardar RP Singh, Nahid, ceasefire now. Enough. Both of you, stop. No, okay, both of you, stop. It's a big breaking news. I'm being told that in the next 24 to 48 hours, it's expected that more action could be taken. We'll be watching this space very closely, tracking every possible development. In fact, breaking news also coming in that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has now left from her residence. We'll be tracking every moment right now as the investigation gains momentum. Sardar RP Singh, Manish Barar, Karan Verma, Professor Vivek Singh, Nahid Lari Khan, Surendra Chauhan, Anirban Banerjee and Dr. Piyush Joshi. Thank you very much for joining us on The Burning Question.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
We will do whatever it takes to strengthen Taiwan's self-defense capability. Taiwan is committed to maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, and we will make Taiwan a key stabilizing force for regional security, ensuring a free and open Indo-Pacific, as well as the stable development of global trade and supply chain.
Speaking at a joint press conference, US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke about how she viewed the relationship between the US and Taiwan as important one and how the solidarity of the people of the United States is with Taiwan at this point.
Put it in perspective, over 4 decades ago, the Taiwan Relations Act was building a strong bond between our two countries, advancing our shared interests of governance, economy, and security, while respecting the One China policy. Our solidarity with you is more important than ever as you defend Taiwan and your freedom.
The speaker went on to mention how China stood against Taiwan's participation in certain meetings and was harming relations of the country with the US.
Important to note that members of Congress, several of them had made trips just earlier this year. 5 senators, bipartisan, came, again including the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee, Mr. Menendez, came. Not too much of a fuss was made. Individual senators have made trips or plan to make trips. And I just hope that it's really clear that while China has stood in the way of Taiwan participating and going to certain meetings, that they understand that they will not stand in the way of people coming to Taiwan.
Speaking about the manner in which China influenced Taiwan, Nancy Pelosi spoke about how the country used money to influence the workings of the state, saying that China uses soft power.
Your question comes in the context of right now a struggle between autocracy and democracy in the world. We cannot back away from that. And so as China goes and uses its soft power, money and whatever, into many countries in order to get their support at the UN and other bodies, we have to recognize if that has effectiveness, because it's a lot of money and it's promises that may or may not ever be kept.
Nancy Pelosi also reiterated how what mattered more was the success of Taiwan and that the US wished to have a good economic exchange between the two countries.
Traditionally, the flag has been made out of khadi, and we think that's a very good idea. Khadi represents India, represents the spirit of India. So we are for the flag. What BJP wants to do is BJP wants that nothing in India should be made by small and medium businesses. They want that everything should be made by 2 or 3 of their favorite big business people. That is why they changed these rules. Okay. Their entire idea is to take the money out of these people's pocket, right, and put it into rich businessmen's pocket.
In the CBSE 2022 boards, the toppers for classes 12 and 10 are from Amity once again.